Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Babe, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good morning and welcome. It's January 25th. It's Saturday and I'm broadcasting live from California at Surf. I'm disappeared from the screen. I have a glitch in my computer that I'm trying to resolve, but I want to give a warm welcome to all of you that have found me on Facebook fighting CPS. This is a live podcast heard around the world, and I'm open to anybody that has a question or a comment about CPS. That means not only in the United States, but around the world. And I've had about 20 countries that have had CPS issues that we've tried to resolve on here. From Bangladesh to India up to the Middle East. There's 2 countries there. Then Africa, 6 countries. Europe, 8 countries across the pond to North America. I've had Canada with 4 provinces. Then I've had, excuse me 1 second here. Wow. I've had, of course, the United States. All 50 states include Washington, D.C. Excuse me 1 second. Then down south of the border, I've had Mexico, then Grenada and South America. Across the Pacific, I've had New Zealand and 2 states in Australia, the Gold Coast and the state of Victoria on the south coast, Melbourne area. And all of you have expressed the same thing. You had your children taken that weren't in danger and that you're having a terrible time fighting CPS. Now, I too had a case too. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm a loving father and a husband. I have 41 years of marriage and I have helped raise 6 children. Unfortunately, they hit me at a time that I was down. I had just recently lost my job through no fault of their own after working for 45 years. And not only did I lose my job, I lost 3 of my children in this battle with CPS. I got 2 of them back, but there's one that is completely gone, which is sad, very, very sad. I lost my home. I lost my credit. I've been fighting them for 15 years. The sad part about the CPS is the way they go about hurting parents, hurting grandparents, hurting seniors, hurting elderly people, hurting moms and dads. Now, I'm not saying all of CPS is bad. It's just that the experience that I had with about 900 people, including myself, has shown me how bad they really are. Now, when I call CPS, I mean the Child Protection Systems. There's a system in every county, in every state, in every country around the world. They may give it different names, but to me, it's all the same, Child Protection System. And that's what I'm calling CPS. Now, it starts off with them hearing allegations which they believe are true, either from lay people or from professionals. The lay people seems to give a lot of problems because they're not trained into recognizing abuse or neglect. And also, some of the lay people use it for their own motives, meaning that they lie. And it's really sad because hurting a family or hurting a child or hurting a parent is not nice. There's so many of you that come on my show crying, from the mum in England in Harwich, or the 6 beautiful ladies in South Africa in their provinces. It's terrific to hear. Or the ladies in Canada and Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Quebec. And of course, the ladies and fathers around the country, from Alaska to New York to Oklahoma, Texas. They all have something in common, including myself. Our children were needlessly taken. Why? The question is easy. It's all about money. Now, I'm on the podcast twice a day, 7 days a week. I've been doing this rigorously for 15 months. I've not missed a day yet. Depending on how I feel, I mean, there's times that I've really felt sick, but I still come on and do the show. I do it through the holidays, so Christmas Eve and Christmas morning and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, from the 4th of July weekend to Labor Day weekend to all of the U.S. holidays. I'm here. I'm here because I want to help you. I care about you. It's a hard thing to deal with. CPS is very, very difficult to work with. For instance, I have one lady, Lori from Canada, that's taken her 15 months to open up. She'd come to the room, she'd not say anything. And recently, the last couple of weeks, she's been opening up. It is so hard when people lose their child. I mean, every day I did not forget my daughter, who's now 22. She was stolen at age 12 and forced to emancipate from the parents, all because a social worker was caught committing perjury in court under oath, and she wanted to retaliate. See, that's the bad thing about CPS. They're very corrupt. They retaliate. It's all basic because of money. You're going to find out it's money. Now, there's supposed to be a government entity, a part of social services, that's supposed to protect children from neglect and abuse. Children from neglect or abuse. And they're also supposed to offer you aid, such as food, shelter, clothing, transportation, medical, educational, and of course help you find a job. And if they must take apart your family, such as take a child that's in imminent danger from one of the parents or from both parents, They're supposed to do what's called family reunification, where they try to put the family back together by the parents taking parenting classes or drug rehab programs. But they're supposed to put it back, but that does take time. It's a lot easier for them and quicker and more money incentives to have a child adopted in foster care. They have a big incentive to get additional money from the federal government for having a child in foster care. They get nothing for having the family reunified. And studies have shown that the biological parents are the best parents to raise children. Now, I have a format in here that will help you, because this is, I feel, as much as your room is my room. It's where I want you to help you with your case and so forth. And besides being in this room, give me emojis like thumbs up or smiley faces or, hearts. That's beautiful. And send me stars. You can also check the follow button below and the notification when you want to know when I'm on. Now, another thing you can do in this room is you can text me a message, either a question or a comment about CPS. All I ask is you give me your first name, the city or the county where your case was, and the state. And if you're from another country, to give your province, or you may also have states too, along with your first name and your city, and of course the country. I welcome you all, and I have a lot of fine people that come in here as regulars, to the point they call me Uncle Bob. I mean, there are such beautiful people, from Faye Manley, a woman in Richmond, Kentucky, who is trying to take care of her son. She wants to get guardianship. He's about in his 20s. And he's a special needs son. That's what's so special about your parents. There's my old co-host, Darlene, from Georgia, that's trying to get her son back, who's 19, who's been kidnapped by CPS. He was shipped when he was 17 to Texas from Georgia for special needs. When he turned 18, he wanted to get back with his mom, and they've refused to let him go. They want that money. That's how corrupt the system is. It's all about money. It's about how they can get money and more money and money. Now, please text in those comments, because I really would love to help you. Try to be complete with your case when you text in the comments. Now, a third way to interact with this podcast is to schedule to be a guest on my podcast. Oh, I'd love to have guests. This last week, I've had 6 guests. One was from Michigan, the other 5 were from Canada. And not all at once, but in groups of 2s. But I can take up to 9 guests on my podcast. There you get a chance to speak and talk about your case and help other people in this room along with me. So to be a guest, you're going to contact my show producer. Her name is Grace. She works very hard behind the scenes, and she will help you get on the show. All you have to do is write her. Now, as I told you, I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time and 7 o'clock in the evening Pacific Standard Time. On the weekends, I come on at 8 o'clock Saturday and Sunday. So you just tell her in an email to her that I want to be on Bob's Sunday morning show, or Bob's Saturday evening show, or Bob's Wednesday morning show, and she'll take care of the rest. Her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. grace@vincentwdavis.com. You send the request, she'll send you the link. We use StreamYard as the application, and we broadcast on YouTube. We use StreamYard as the application. She'll tell you what to do and not to do on the podcast. She'll tell you what to do there. Now, the last way, or the fourth way to interact with this podcast is you can call in at my number. That's 626-698-0990. That's my work number. Now, we use Vonage, which is an internet phone application to make the call. So my phone is live, and I can take the call right now. The other number on my screen, the 888-888-6582, is the law offices of Vincent W. Davis and Associates. He's the attorney that spoke in the beginning of my podcast with a message. He wants to help other people, and he does a lot of his time for free. And he's a real pit bull of attorney. Not only has he 39 years of experience of fighting CPS, he's trained and licensed in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He's also a trial attorney. He can do trials. Now, we don't do trials here in dependency court. Well, we do trials, but we don't do jury trials. And I wish we did. I think our peers should be the judgment, not the judge, not the social workers. Based on the evidence, our peers should determine whether we're guilty or not guilty. The sad part is, in the eyes of CPS, we're guilty because of what someone said, which is wrong. There's a lot of things wrong in CPS that I'd like to see changed or fixed or corrected. Now, scrolling across the bottom of my screen is a consultation with Vincent Davis. It's a private consultation on Zoom. I made arrangements to have a special 30-minute session with him for only $60. 30 minutes for $60. And all you have to do is go to that website and pay with your credit card the $60 and set up the 30 minutes, and he will talk to you in a private Zoom meeting. Now, when you call that number to the office, you can't ask for Mr. Davis. If you're ready to retain him, he's ready to work for you. Now, his office is in Arcadia, which is close to LA. He has cases in Orange County and in LA County, in Riverside County, San Bernardino County, and he has Northern California, as well as some states like Oklahoma. He's got a case in Oklahoma. He will help you. It is a little bit more money because of the per diem costs when he goes out of the state or to Northern California. He has a case in the Northern California area too. He really cares about you. He was once a foster child himself, so he knows how bad the foster system is. And yes, the foster system and CPS are bad. They go, but not all of it. I've had foster parents on here on the show. I've had social workers on here for CPS on the show. But it's only been a total of 4 since I started 15 months ago. I've had a lady named Carol from Maryland. And then another lady from from Iowa, from Illinois, and Nebraska. Oh, California. And they have told me how they do CPS, how they do the protection of neglect and abuse, and how they take care of the families. And it's totally different. Totally different. Now, it's kind of quiet this morning, which is fine, which I understand that being a Saturday morning, people may have other things to do. It fluctuates. It's interesting. Sometimes I'll be so busy I can't keep track of all of the comments that come in. I'm thirsty this morning. Ugh. There's some important rules I've developed that'll protect you and hopefully make it so your case isn't so bad. One of the rules I have is that rule number one, you need to find yourself an attorney. The attorney is the most important part of your case because you're dealing with an agency that is like open heart surgery. It's very complex. They're not very giving. They have a lot of money because it's all about money. Some of the CPS systems have learned how to get money from parents. It's not from parents, but from having children in custody. When they do an investigation, they automatically will contact the state and ask for a number. What that number is for is so they can get funds from the state, who gets their funds from the federal government. The money from the federal government to the state is not being watched. It just freely flows to the state. The state in turn freely flows the money to the county. And it's $1 trillion business. It's all about money. And that is true whether you're in England, South Africa, Canada, or the United States. It's all about money. And it's sad because they found that out. In 1994, President Clinton signed the law, the Incentive Act, which says they'll give money to the CPS agencies if your child is adopted into foster care. That is wrong. That is wrong. So that's why you need an attorney, because You need someone that knows their way around. They need to be trained in family law, juvenile law, dependency law. Just like a doctor doing open heart surgery, you're not going to have a plumber do open heart surgery, just like you're not going to have a plumber try to do the fight CPS. Now, you're also experiencing excitement because you got a free attorney, you think. Be careful what you get for free. CPS is notorious to offer you because the Constitution says anytime that you're in trouble with the law, if you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Well, in CPS matters, those court appointed or public defenders are really bad. They're new attorneys starting out, and they only are trained in criminal law, which is not the area that you got to be in. Also, these court appointed attorneys work for CPS, the Child Protection Systems. They're paid by CPS. They're friends of CPS. Also, CPS keeps them so busy that they have a caseload of 30 or more clients, which does afford them any time to fight for a case. They just want to get it over with, and they'll settle for any kind of deal. They're not fighters in court. You can't meet with them. The only time you do talk to them is the day of your hearing or when you're going to court. It's wrong. And if you intend to use one, make sure you kick them in the seat of the pants and make them do their job. If you don't, fire them. Tell them that if they don't defend you, then they're negligent in their job, and you report them to the state bar. You report them to the state bar. So I'm talking about a real attorney. Example, Mr. Davis. He's a real pit bull of an attorney. Not only has he gotten children back and fought CPS, when your case is closed, he's done civil lawsuits where he's won millions of dollars in both state and federal court by doing civil lawsuits when your civil rights are violated. Not only your civil rights, but your constitutional rights. And that is important. That's the kind of attorney you want. Now, you should get 3 attorneys. Get 3 quotes from 3 attorneys. I do anything when I buy in 3s. When I want to get a price on something, I'll get 3 quotes. Same thing with attorneys. But you're trying to check them out. Well, an easy way to check them out is ask them 2 important questions. The first question is, are you a licensed, trained professional attorneys in the areas of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law, and have won cases fighting CPS and gotten the children back? If the answer to that question is yes, you go to the next question. The next question should be, when a case is closed, have you ever filed a civil lawsuit against CPS and won money back? If the answer is yes, then that's the kind of attorney you want. Because not all attorneys that fight CPS do civil lawsuits. You need a fighter who's not afraid to stand up to CPS. Somebody that is trained professionally in the areas of juvenile law, dependency law, and family law. Those three areas is what you need. That's what CPS works out of. They have you in court, dependency court. It's not a jury trial. It should be, but it's not a jury. Also, you are guilty until you're proven innocent. It's different than any other court of law. Other court of laws, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. But in CPS matters, you're guilty. And that's their attitude. When they hear complaint, they believe the complaint. And when they come to see you, that leads you to my rule number 3, is that they're going to want to investigate the case by coming into your home, by talking to you, by taking your child. Those things are all wrong. They're all wrong. Now, after you call the 3 attorneys, you'll make a decision which one is best. Now, I already got you one of them, Vincent Davis. He matches those questions perfectly. So all you need to do is find 2 more attorneys. Then you talk to all 3, and you see the chemistry and whether or not they will take your case on. You know, he has to determine, like Vincent will determine the price of your retainer depending on the complexity of the core of the case and how long the case has been going on. And also if your case is out of the area where he has to add per diem, such as airfare, ground transportation, a hotel, food, you know, those things. So I really feel strongly that you get those 2 other attorneys along with Mr. Davis and make a determination of which one's the best for you. I hired Mr. Davis. I hired him too late because I lost my daughter. He did get back my 2 boys. He's really aggressive. He proved the social worker was lying on the stand. She committed perjury, which is a civil lawsuit, and I could sue her. But I didn't have the money for the retainer for a lawsuit. I had sold my home on a quick sale to hire Mr. Davis. I need the money fast, so I sold it for half of what it's worth. A half. I lost $1 million in the transition there. But I got the money, and I was able to pay off the first and second mortgage. But my credit was ruined. CPS ruined my credit. They also have me as a background that I was neglect with my children, which works negatively on your credit. Also, the find work. I had a really difficult time. You know, I had jobs on and off, but I couldn't seem to hang on to them, and I kept asking them why. And they find your background, and they don't want you because of your involvement in CPS. Also, I think my age had a lot to do with it, too. See, I've been working for 60 years, and now I'm 75. And it's harder at 75 to get a career job again like I once had. I realize that. I'm willing to take a cut in pay because I have a lot to offer someone. My diversity background is immensely diversified. From an ocean lifeguard trained in EMT to a marine animal trainer training killer whales and other dolphins, and penguins and birds. To running a seafood restaurant, manager of a seafood restaurant. To be a marine biologist, leading a team of technicians to do environmental studies. To be a civil engineer, to generate sales of $153 million. To managing projects $75 million to be an inspector. I have a lot of life skills that I've learned along the way. And that's something that life skills should include learning about CPS. We no longer do life skills like we should. When you start school at preschool or preppy kindergarten or first grade. See, I started school in the old days when there was no kindergarten or preppy K or preschool. Maybe there was, but my parents couldn't afford it. But anytime you're involved in school, you should have a class in life skills. Early on, it can be talking about bullying and how to be safe around strangers. When you reach middle school, it could be about sex and dating, because right now, middle school kids are learning those things. And then college could be about marriage and divorce, filing your taxes, learning about CPS. Also, skills along the way can be also sewing and cooking, how to open up a checking account or a savings account, how to file your taxes. That can continue well into your college years, whether you get a master's or a PhD, or you do an internship. You should always have a class, a 50-minute class every year of your schooling where you learn those life skills. It's so valuable. It's so valuable. Now, I was talking about the getting an attorney. I do hope you get one, because the court-appointed attorney you're going to be disappointed in. Now, rule number 2 is to organize your documents. You're going to get a lot of documents. You're going to generate documents. One way to keep track of everything is start a timeline of your incidents. Timeline of your incidents. Incidents are things that happen with you and the police, you and CPS, you and your children, with the school administrators, with other adults. You want to keep track of all those incidents. You want to document them. So with this notebook, you get subject dividers. Divide all your documents so you can easily find things. With this timeline of incidents, you take 3 lines per incident. Your first line is the date, the time, the location, and the people that were involved on the first line. The second line is a summary of what the incident was about. And the third line is the outcome of the incident. If you don't know it, come back later. Skip a line and come back later. And you do this with the most earliest incident going forward. And in 6 months, you'll have lots of incidents. So with the documents, keep track of them, because you won't remember things 6 months later. You'll need to document your case because you have to go against them. A lot of times they lie. They're not transparent. They'll build you up and then take you down. They'll make you sign documents that have other things. Do not sign anything unless your attorney says it's okay to sign. Do not talk to them unless your attorney is present. Do not meet with them at their office or in your home. My rule number 3 says you do not talk to social workers. You do not let them in your home. Same thing goes for the police. Your home is your castle. No one can enter your home without a warrant or your permission. Now, if danger is taking place, they can't enter the home, such as if they hear a child crying excessively and being hurt physically, they'll enter the home. But when you hear a knocking coming at your door, you never know who that knock is. And sadly, there are people being killed opening the door. I'm not saying it's profusely a lot of people, but it's enough people that I don't want to take a chance with a gun. I don't want to take a chance with a bullet. There are too many hotheads and people that can't control their emotions. That includes law enforcement and people that work for the government. Now, CPS does not carry a weapon, but they have police with them to protect them. That's why the police are there. 2 reasons: for protection and intimidation. They want to intimidate you because you think what the police say is true. You have to follow it. But you have to be very strong and tell them, if you happen to see them outside, that you can't talk with them, but you will talk with them, but you need to have your attorney present. You need to have your attorney present. So get their name and the number and make sure you check their IDs because they lie about their names. Check their IDs. A policeman will have a badge with a badge number. A social worker will have an ID badge with their picture and who they represent. Check it against a business card they may give you. Be nice, but don't say too much to them. Tell them you need your attorney present. That's an easy way to get away from that scenario because they're going to do your dongest to try to get into you. If I knew that, I never would have had to go my fateful time in 2015 when they came to my, actually it was when the CPS got tired of being told for 5 years have nothing to show them. And I had them in my house. I had them over and I talked to them. I diffused everything. So they got the policeman to find out my routine and followed me and then told me when he pulled over to go to my home. He ordered to my home and opened it up. And that was a validation of my civil rights. I could have sued the policeman. Again, it's so sad that it takes money to sue people. Even when I lost my job through no fault of their own, I could have sued the agency for refusing to give me public funds that had been awarded to me. It would cost too much money in a lawsuit. It cost too much money in a lawsuit. So on this rule number 3 is you don't talk to policemen or social workers. Don't let your children, don't give it to them. You heard me mention a warrant. That is the only way that they can take your child or they can talk to you or search your home is with a warrant. It's a sheet of paper, not a PDF file on a computer, because they will use forgery. You got to look at that piece of paper because they'll try to use other warrants for other people. They'll change the date or something like that. That's a real important key is you want to look for some things. First of all, you want to see if there's a wet signature signed by a judge where the stamp runs through that wet signature and the hand stamp raises the letter so no one can forge it. Then you want to see the date. To see the date when this was ordered or when this was done. Next to the judge's signature, there'll be a date. If that date is a weekend or a holiday during the day, then that's not a legitimate warrant, because warrants can only be issued from the judge on a court date. Also, The name who it's addressed to should be all the parties concerned in the case. It should also list the children that are being suspected of either neglect, abuse, or both. It also should be an address that they can come and pick up the child or investigate or talk to you or search your home. There should be steps of what they can do and not do. If they say they can only talk to you, that's all they can do. So be very, very careful. Now, if you don't answer the door, you won't see the warrant. They may leave the warrant there at the door later on when you check the front door to see who's knocking. But that is so important for you not to surrender your child or to talk to them, because what you say will be used against you. They're they're tricksters. They know how to lie and how to cheat and how to retaliate. They're corrupt. It's all because of money. Furthermore, there's also, besides child trafficking, there's medical trafficking. What is medical trafficking? Well, lately, the CPS workers, social workers, have been hanging out at hospitals and urgent cares. They hang out at the emergency room. And what they do is they overhear something that maybe they misconstrue that isn't factual. If you deny services, that's not something for them to come after you. You have the right to seek other medical opinions. You have the right to seek other medical treatment at other places. I know when you bring your child in with a high fever or feeling very ill, you're worried about them. Feeling very ill, you're worried about them. So you got to be careful with the medical trafficking, because social workers are there. Don't talk to them. Don't let them take your child. Furthermore, if you come in to have a baby, be careful there, because they've taken babies from parents that just had their child. They'll bring the police, they'll march in the room and say, "We want your child." They have to have a warrant. They have to have a warrant. So be careful of medical trafficking. Now, rule number 4 is an easy one. That rule is strictly a rule that is not really a rule, but something that will help you, because it's the internet. The internet is a gold mine and a resource of information about CPS and about your case. You can learn so much, but if you don't paraphrase the question right, you won't find anything. So you start off with a city, followed by a state or a country. A city, a state, or a country. And if that city's not a major city, you may have to put a secondary city with a comma after the first city. So, for instance, Athens, Atlanta, Georgia. Athens, comma, Atlanta, Georgia. Then after you put the state and the country, where you put the letters CPS. CPS is known in the Google system. Everybody knows what CPS stands for. So that's going to bring up anything related to that city and state or country. And you put CPS, will bring up millions of stuff about CPS. If you want to refine your search, after CPS, put in your question. How do I do a 388 motion? How do I do a complaint against a lawyer? How do I do a complaint against a judge? How do I do a complaint against a social worker? How do I appeal a case? So you answer that question there. So that's all you need to do. And you want to spend 60, 80 hours of your time researching everything you know about CPS. Education is powerful. What you know will help you with your case. What you know will help you. Now, my last rule is rule number 5, and it involves you making copies of important documents to put in an envelope to keep with your notebook. These documents are like a marriage license. a birth certificate of a child, the grade reports of a child, their shot records, any medical history on the child, if there's special needs child, copies of the arrangements with the school and special needs. You also want to put a copy of your driver's license and a copy of the children's social security cards. You put all the information in that envelope. So CPS asks who is the biological father. It isn't called presumption that so-and-so is the father. A birth certificate showing the father will suffice of the child. They're notorious. They're trying to do things that are wrong there. So those are my 5 rules, and they would help. If I had known those 5 rules at my time, I would never have lost my daughter. If I had hired an attorney, my rule number 1, I wouldn't have lost my daughter. I waited too late. I tried to first use the court-appointed attorney because I was struggling with finances. I was trying to keep my home after I lost my job, so all my money had to pay the mortgages. My mortgages, including my taxes on my home, were about $5,000 a month. So I had to have $5,000 a month in savings, which I did for a period of time. But it's getting close to the time of my podcast is going to be over. It can only go to 9 o'clock. There'll be a podcast, a question and answer from Vincent Davis, my attorney, at 10 o'clock this morning. So Vincent does have things from time to time. During the week, he has questions and answers. There's other podcasts by other people here that are trying to fight CPS too. I know one of my regular people in this room, her name is Akima Richardson from Brooklyn, New York. She has a podcast. There's also a girl, Deetra, who has a podcast too. There's another lady called Mrs. G. And of course, Vincent has a podcast. So there's a lot of resources for you to learn about CPS and how to fight them. But whatever you do not trust them. Do not make deals because you're making deals like you're with the devil. I call CPS the devil. You're signing your life off with a lot of devils that will take your children for the sole purpose of money. Good morning, Lori. I'm so glad to see you, and thank you for the thumbs up. Lori is that special lady from Canada who's been on my show for probably all 15 months. And she's one that's now opened up for help and stuff. So she now is more freely in my room asking for help and questions. Now I'm going to be on again tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's California time. For you on the East Coast, I'm 3 hours behind you. If you're in England, you're 8 hours ahead of me. Europe, you're 8 hours, 9 hours. South Africa, you're 9. Australia, you're the next day. You're 19 hours ahead of me. Or New Zealand, or places like that. So I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, to try to help you, try to follow my 5 rules there. Please come back and participate in my podcast. I do miss my regular people. It's nice to see Lori, but I miss a lot of my regular people. So there'll be a brief message from Vincent Davis, who will talk about things that will help you with your case. So I want you to have a really good day, and don't quit fighting for your kids. Don't give up. Keep fighting for them, and come back to me with your questions, and I'll answer the best I can. So again, thank you, Lori, for your thumbs up. And again, a lot of you that visit my room from time to time. But anyway, I do have to go. This is Bob Pace signing off. God bless y'all. And remember, do not give up fighting for your children. Bob Pace now is signing off.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.